Hello all. Today we are going to learn a new type of sorting algorithm, and that is insertion sort. Insertion is nothing but we are going to find a position where we need to insert a particular element. Okay. Before going to the algorithm or the coding, let's understand what is the actual logic behind insertion. For that, what I will do is I will take a very simple example which will be containing 5 elements. You can see that this particular question is containing 5 elements, right? 10, 5, and 2. And I'm going to arrange this particular array in the ascending or descending order. Let's choose first ascending order only because that will be easier to understand. Now, if you look at this, first what we will do is we'll try to consider the first element is already arranged and we'll take the second element. Okay. So we compare these both the elements. If they are in the correct order, then we'll leave as it is. Else, what we will do is we are going to insert this one in its correct position. Fine. This is our key. Initially, key will be the second element. You need to remember this in insertion sort. Okay. Now, if you look at these both, they are in not correct order. That's why what we will do, we'll write 1 here, 22, 10, 5, and 2. This is done. Now we will consider, after considering this was in correct order, now we'll consider these two are in the correct order. Then consider this as key. You observe this part. Initially key was 1. Now key is what? Key is equal to 10. We'll check whether these two are in the same order or not. If they are not in the same order, what we will do, we'll just copy this 22 into the next position in this way, and then again compare this key with the next element. First we are going to compare the first element, then we'll compare the second element, then compare it with the next element. Since 10 is greater than 1, where should be 10 now? It should be here. So what we will do, we'll rewrite this 1, 10, 22, 5, and 2, right? Now we'll assume that this part is arranged, and that's why I'll consider key as the next element. KEY, here key will be equal to 5. Now I'll compare this 5 with 22. Are they in the same order? No. So what I will do, I'll write 1 here, 10 here, 22. This particular element will be copied to this position, 22 and 2. You see, even after copying this 22, we are not losing the element because element is already stored in key element. Now after this, after comparing with this, we are going to compare it with this element. This key will be compared with 10 now. So if you look at this, since 10 is greater than 5, we are going to shift this 10 here now. Fine. So 1, 10, 10, 22, 2. Right. After shifting 10 here, you can find that key is equal to 5. We have compared it with 22, 10, and then we are going to compare it with 1. Since 5 is greater than 1, I need to make sure that 5 will be written here. So you straight away write 1, 5, 10, 22, and 2. If you observe here carefully, we assumed that this particular part was arranged properly and chose the next element and try to insert this element in the correct position. Fine. Now coming to the last element, you look at this element. I need to add this element in the correct position. Initially assume that this part is already arranged. Okay. And after this, you are going to compare it with this element. So here key will be equal to 2. So here key will be equal to 2. And that's why if you compare this 2 and 22, we know that 22 is greater than 2. That's why it will become like 1, 5, 10, 22. We are just copying this 22 to here, 22, right? And we are keeping this key is equal to 2 initially with us only. Now we are going to compare this key and this 10. We have compared with this 22. Now we'll compare it with this 10. Since 10 is greater, so we are going to shift it this side. Okay, so 1, 5, 10, 10, 22, right? After comparing it with this 10, we are going to compare this 2 with this 5. Since 5 is greater than 2, what we will do, we will again copy it here. 1, 5, 5, 10, 22. Now again compare this 2 with this 1. Okay. If you compare this 2 with this 1, you know that 1 is smaller than 2. So 2 should come here only. That's why we are going to copy 1, 2, 5, 10, 22. Fine. Now if you look at this part, this is arranged in ascending order. Ascending order. Now I hope you understood how the insertion sort is working. Now what we will do, we'll go for writing algorithm. Algorithm will be written by just looking at this particular way how we have arranged it in ascending order. What was the first thing that we done? We just considered this part is already arranged and the second element was considered as key. So what we will do is we'll go for selecting considering key as array of 1. You can see I have considered key as array of 1 initially. This is initial position. So this is going to be in the for loop. For loop is going to start from here. We are going to start from this element 1, 2, 3 and then at the end. So we are going to start from 1 to 4. If you observe this carefully, we are going to start from I is equal to 1 to I is equal to n minus 1, right? So if what is n here, number of elements 5, so it is 5 minus 1, 4. So from 1 to 4 we are going. That's why a for loop will be like this. It will start from I is equal to 1 to I is equal to n minus 1, right? And we are going to consider key is equal to array of 1 in the initial case, but if you want to consider, we are going to consider it as array of I. So this is going to be second element directly. Second element. After checking this, we are going to check whether this particular element is smaller or greater. That's why here we will require another variable. I am going to take j is equal to, you see, if I is 1, I am considering, I am going to compare it which element? I am going to compare it with a number, a element which is in one less position than I. You see here also 10 was there. We compared with 22. This is actually, if it is I, then this will be I minus 1. Right? Later I will j will become I minus 2. In this way it will go on reducing. That's why here j will be equal to I minus 1. Fine. And after that what we will do is we have got key, we have got j, we are going to check the condition. Here we will use another while loop. Observe here there is a for loop here. Inside for loop we are having while loop. This while loop j is going to start from where? We need to check, we need to write a condition. There is no initialization in the for while loop, only in the for loop we will have initialization. J should always be greater than or equal to 0, because see, when I was checking, I came and stopped here in the first place. I did not go beyond this. Here j will be equal to minus 1, j will be equal to minus 2. I don't want to go here, so I went only till here, right? And then and another condition I need to check, j should be what? In this case, if j was array of j was greater than this element, key element, then only I had gone for the changing the values. That's why I need to make sure that array of j is greater than key, right? Here we'll go for just shifting or copying the element to the next one. See, when you're copying it in this way, I'm copying it in this way. If it is j, it will be j plus 1. I'm going to copy jth element in j plus 1th element. So array of j plus 1 is equal to array of j. And after shifting it here, we are going to shift the next element. So initially j was here and j got reduced. That's why j will be equal to j minus 1, and we'll end the while loop. After doing all these things, we are doing another operation. You can see here. Now we came till here. I wanted to replace this element. Here j value will be equal to 0, and I am going to set j plus 1th element to our key. You see, key value was 2. Key value was 2, right? Here key value was 2, and I set this 2 to this place, means j plus 1th place. That's why what we will do is, at the end we'll set array of j plus 1th element as key. See, this is actually it looks like a program only. If you have understood this, you can write the algorithm. That is no, there is no problem. Now what we will do, we'll just try to code this particular part. Okay, we'll come here. See, we have got a function. This function is going to take two parameters. One is array and another is number of elements. Fine. You can see we have got a, in the main function we have got a array 21, 1, 10, 5 and 2. And then I am going to calculate number of elements. For calculating number of elements, what you do, size of array, it is going to be 4 into 5, 20, divided by array of size of first element, that is 4. 20 divided by 4, 5. So n value will be 4, n value will be 5. Now insertion, this is actually calling of a function. I am calling insertion function and I am passing array and number of elements. I call this insertion function, so the control of the program came here. Now this is going to take two variables that are passed from this main function, array and n. You see, this is declared with int array and then int n. Here you see I am starting a loop, for loop, int I is equal to 1 and I is less than n, because I am going till n minus 1 only. Then I plus plus, I am setting another variable j is equal to I minus 1 as I have explained, and k is equal to array of ith element. Initially I will be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, it will go on becoming like this. Then we will check condition, j should be greater than or equal to 0. Whenever we are comparing the element, I cannot cross beyond the array's first element. That's why this condition, and array should be, here we have taken array should be greater than, so we'll set it as greater than. We'll see what will be the output. You need to understand why this symbol. Okay, after that I am going to set array j plus 1th element as array of jth element, as we have written here. Fine. And then j is equal to j minus 1. We will go on decrementing because we want to shift these values here. Fine. And then at the end I'll set array j plus 1 is equal to key. Okay, and afterwards I have written a print array function. This is very simple function. This is going to take two variables, that is array and n. Same array and n I have declared it here. And after that I am running a for loop. This is just for printing the array. You can print it here also, no problem. If you write this part here, if you write, then it works. But writing functions is a standard way of writing code. Okay, so we'll save it, then we'll go for execution, gcc insertion.c. This is my file name, and then /a. If I click, you can observe it is arranged in the ascending order. If you want to do this thing in the descending order, there is no much thing that you need to do. Whenever you are checking here, Just make sure that jth element is smaller than key. Okay, I'll make it jth element smaller than key, and then try to execute the code. You can see initially we had arranged it in the ascending order. Now we have arranged it in the descending order. Only that difference is there, otherwise everything is same. I hope you have understood this code. Thank you.